Views from the friend zone. I'm trying to reach the end zone. You think I'm kinda sweet and you wanna be friends though? It's cool though. Just don't try to play me for no fool, yo. Views from the friend zone. I'm trying to reach the end zone. You think I'm kinda sweet and you wanna be friends though? It's cool though. Just don't try to play me for no fool, yo. Yeah. Welcome to another edition of the Views from the Friend Zone podcast. It's your boy Real Talk Marv. And we got like a real SUNY education reunion up in here. Buffalo Binghamton's up in here, you know what I'm saying? So, it's glad to have my peoples in the building, you know what I'm saying? So, like always, I have people introduce themselves. So starting with my partner to the right.
It's your boy Clip Rockmanal.
Madeline Moschler, hi.
Hi everyone, Steiner Woodruff.
Yes. So, like I said, the State University of New York is strongly represented here. People with their college degrees, doing their thing, stuff like that. Wanted to have them come on and, discuss what they got going on in their life and stuff like that. Shout out to UB. We won yesterday in the football game. We did our thing, you know what I'm saying? Side note, shout out to the Giants, got their first win, but
After the Cowboys last week.
Yeah, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Cowboys
And
suck.
A real Buffalo girl from Buffalo.
Yes.
You would be remiss to not mention that.
You guys look good today.
Yes,
you guys
Minnesota,
look good today.
If we're still
you know what I'm
winning,
saying?
are we still winning?
Yeah. So, what? We're going to start. We always like to have, be cordial and have ladies first. So, Madeline will have you, let us know what you got going on with yourself.
Well, I am here in New York. I'm a family law attorney. That's my specialty. I practice mostly in Queens, family court. I do divorces. I do some other law too, but my main focus is helping the community as I can as far as family law goes, child support. That's the main thing.
And child support's a big deal because a lot of men either aren't, doing what they need to do or feel like they're unjustly restricted with the child support and have no ways around this. I know that's definitely something that's
I see it both ways. It's the men and the women. I think we're both struggling, but what our community really needs is someone who understands both sides and the issues that affect us directly to represent them. So I just started my own practice.
Nice.
I went on my own. I've been practicing family law for a while, but I'm on my own and I'm helping people my way. So it's great.
That's beautiful. What about you?
Well, for me, I have a brand that I created.
Yes, let me see the brand.
Oh, well.
You guys always, I rotate. I got 2 shirts. I rotate all the time. You know what I'm saying? Live life, love life, the brand. But let me.
All day, every day, and I thank you for that.
Yeah.
Back in 2008, I started the brand. Well, actually, no, 2009, sorry. 2008 when everything went kind of bellied up
The
for
market
me.
went
Right,
haywire.
and in 2009, I lost everything, and the creation of the brand started in 2009. I've been an entrepreneur ever since then because it forced me to be different, think different, because I wanted to come out with change. And, I try to, spread a message, a positive message through fashion, if it's doing things to inspire people, more so inspire the uninspired, in other words, to start living life more. We get caught up in our lifestyle, if it's going to work, if it's, family, if it's, friends or whatever. Sometimes we never give back to ourselves. And the brand is more so trying to say, give back to yourself.
Yeah.
Have fun with life. Don't feel that, you're born and it's a small crawl to the grave. No, sorry, slow crawl to the grave. I apologize.
Yeah.
But, you want to enjoy your life and be filled with so much happy memories.
And just the title of the brand is beautiful. Live life, love life. A lot of times we're just living in on the status quo. We don't love the life. We don't love the things that we're doing. We don't love the jobs that we have, And that's why it's important for us to build platforms and build our own brands and build, ways to get out our voice, get our dreams going, So it's beautiful to have 2 entrepreneurs, on the set, one doing things with fashion, one doing their own thing in the legal system. And it's beautiful to see, people of color taking those kind of chances. Like us on the other end, we're like, we have our brand as far as, Views from the Friend Zone as a show. And we're, also trying to get ourselves out there. So it's we're still stuck in the 9 to 5 or him 9 to 24-hour clock kind of grind. But, I say that to say, to follow your dreams, there's cost to it. There's
Right.
sacrifices you have to make. And that's going to be the first topic we discuss, the cost of our dreams. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times our parents gave us the blueprint to work hard, go to school, get a good
Right.
job. And if you work at that good job for 30 years,
Right.
it used to be you get a gold watch or, those kind of theories. But now we know that there's no loyalty in the workforce.
Right.
Yeah,
As
bro.
the markets change, people are let go easily. You said how you started the brand in 2009. I got laid off in late 2008 myself when, the real estate bubble happened. And even though I actually was entertainment, I was working in radio on the finance side. With so much thing, with the market crashing, the radio network in New York went from having 6 different accounting departments to 1 accounting department for 6 radio stations. So they were just laying people off
Wow.
to consolidate. I say that to say this, the market could affect you at any time. So unless you kind of control your destiny, you're always subject to, what the market says. So the course of your dreams, right? That's the first topic. The sub question is, what sacrifices have you had to make to chase your dreams? Ladies first.
I'm going to defer to Steiner first.
Okay.
But I have to say, because I'm kind of blown away right now,
Yeah.
I remember it had to be in 2009, sitting at your kitchen table with a yellow piece of paper with the slogan, the brand.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do, Madeline. This is what I'm planning. This is what I want to trademark.
Yeah.
And
I remember, having different, sit downs with him about the branding stuff around the time. So it's nice just to see it fruition. But go ahead.
number one sacrifice is time. It's funny how I think people see the end result now, but there's so much that goes into it beforehand. And to see how far his brand has come from kitchen table to
To meet the
today.
stores,
I asked the man for a T-shirt. I can't get one. And it's too late.
and not to even promote, but just to see reggae artists shouting it out. I think it was Miss Trinidad's, just
Former Miss Trinidad and Tobago.
yes,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. To see different people give him the shout out and the love, and I know it's the hard work and the sacrifice, and it's just only the beginning. But like you said, time's a sacrifice. What about you? What sacrifices have you had to
You
make
be
to
loved.
chase your
No.
dreams?
It's sacrifice is part of this game. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to jobs that you do, because it's your passion, it's a love, it's you trying to leave your mark on this world before you leave. I sacrifice everything. I mean, I'm talking about sometimes I got $1 in my pocket, because I believe in this brand so much.
Yeah.
I believe the message in which it states that it can help awaken folks to start living their life and loving it. And if you think about it, with the words or the message is saying, live life, love life.
Yeah.
If you start living your life, you're going to start loving your life, right?
Yeah,
So-
and there's a difference between living and existing, right?
Right.
So I think a lot of times we just exist. We
Right.
wake up, we follow a routine, we wait every 2 weeks to get that check kind of thing, and we kind of are just in a rat race
Right.
or zombies into it. But we don't necessarily chase life with passion or think about our own
Right.
dreams.
When you ask the question with the sacrifice, again, I'm just going to go back real quick on that. You got to think about everything about your life that you're doing, and you just got to be different. I want to be different. I don't want to live the average life, like you said, and come back and, get up 5 o'clock in the morning to get ready to go to work for 8 o'clock, and then be at work hating my job. Then they telling me when to wake up, when to clock out, when to eat lunch, when to go to sleep. You have no control, and like you said, some people are okay with that, but I am not. I believe that if you just get out your own way and start living your life, you're going to see changes. You're going to start seeing that you're not sacrificing as much, because when you go to work, you sacrifice so much. Your mental health is something that is going on. And I tell people, you have to protect your peace of mind. And work is one of those things that destroys it. Okay? And then along the people who we work around, because if they're not happy with themselves,
You
Yeah.
said bring that negative energy.
They
to it.
invite that
There you
energy into
go.
your
Yeah.
life. So, Cliff, what sacrifices you think you've had to make to chase your dreams?
I mean, I used to play high school and college basketball. I'm not playing high school and college basketball right now. Now the sacrifices me is basically I'm just trying to make sure that my daughter's good, and I'm a new parent and building for my family. So sacrifice is like a lot of the times my wife would go to like dance class. She started dance class, whatever. I'll do 16 hours 5 days a week. So you do 16 hours 5 days a week. A sacrifice is not being in little parties or little events. You have to be with your daughter, but I'm doing that now so she can go to Catholic school. She can have a trust fund when she go to college and make certain decisions, better decisions than I made when I was going to college. So sacrifices, just putting extra hours, building my family.
So, madam, I want you to more discuss your sacrifice, right? Because
It's
I think
different,
of your
right?
sacrifice twofold, right? Because one,
Can I sit up a little more? I feel like
sure.
I'm-
So
Okay.
one, the concentration of law that you chose isn't the most lucrative of the law, the law concentrations as far as this traditionally, like,
Oh, yeah.
doing corporate law to make a whole boatload of money. It takes passion to do the law that you do.
Right.
And then you stepping out on faith and doing your own thing is another kind of sacrifice. So discuss
Right.
those two things.
My life is kind of interesting. It was not very planned. It wasn't like I sat and was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I don't think anything went like that for
Yeah.
me. I had 2 children by the age of 20. I had no college education. I didn't start undergrad and meet all you wonderful people until I was 21. In fact, not to digress, interesting story, how I meet Marv. I didn't even have a computer when I went to school. So I would see Marv in the library at like 1 in the morning after I've already worked 8 hours. I got off at 11 just to do my homework. So like I started a pattern of not sleeping at 21 just to get that undergraduate degree that took me 5.5 years with my 2 little ones in tow. And from there, from the classes that I took at UB, I developed an interest in social work, and I started going towards my master's in social work. In the meantime, I got divorced and became a single mom of 2 trying to go to school. And from there, I somehow ended up in law school, and, all of that was sacrificed, moving from my family and my home and what I knew in Buffalo to New York by myself, essentially, with 2 kids and a dog.
Wow.
There's sacrifice the whole way. There's, you go to law school and you have kids that have parents that were attorneys. You have kids that don't have to worry about bills. They don't have to cook dinner for children. They don't have to do laundry. And it's very intimidating. And then again, when Steiner was talking about like people that you're around with negative energy, I got a ton of that in law school.
Yeah.
They saw me, and I guess I present kind of younger than I am. I had the 2 little girls, and they thought I was just some ghetto chick who didn't belong there.
Yeah.
And I was treated that way by my peers, a lot of them. And it was a lot. It was a lot mentally, it was a lot financially, and it was a lot just physically on your body.
Yeah.
Staying up, studying, taking the bar. I mean, the whole way through. It's a process. And, name a sacrifice, I probably made it.
Yeah. Talk about the sacrifice of leaving the working for someone and just deciding to do your own thing.
I'm going to be honest and say I was probably forced into it. One by, my boyfriend who's an entrepreneur. He's completely thinks there's no benefit in working for someone. And so he would keep drilling that into me. But I was okay with my job. I was happy with it. I had the benefits, what our parents tell us, get a job with benefits. I had that, and that was supposed to be my golden ticket.
Yeah.
But it turned on me. I was portrayed wrongly by my job. I didn't like the way I was portrayed. Nobody had my back. When I say nobody, the higher ups, my actual core team always had my back. The people I actually interact with, they work with, they know me as a person. And it just became a thing like, I don't need anyone to do what I do. I don't need anyone to tell me to rein in my passion. I don't need anyone to tell me how to treat other people in my community. How are you going to tell me how to treat this single mother with 2 little kids when you're not a single mother with 2 kids? I
Exactly.
am. I have this power, and I think some people are not used to seeing a woman with that kind of power who looks kind of young, who had they want to assume that you don't have the experience to help others the way that you want to. And when I tell them what I've done and what I've been through, they're surprised. And they don't really, accept that you actually have that kind of emotional intelligence that you also need to do a good job
Yeah.
until they see it.
Yeah.
And I figured the best way I can do that, which I found out now, is to be on my own and to do it my way and to see how people are drawn to me better without having that corporate overhead over me.
Yeah. And you know what? I think even if I can answer like the sacrifice of chasing your dreams, me personally is just like sacrificing sleep and just always mapping out what are you going to do next. You know, not completely living on, you know, the setbacks that you have or the small victories or the defeats, but just realizing you have to continue to just keep forward. How do I grow? How do I expand myself? How do I expand my voice? How do I expand my brand? It's things that, you know, people see sometimes the final product, a show you do, something like that, and just think, okay, you know what, that looks easy. But it's just like, you know, there's a lot of emotional sacrifice. There's a lot of anxiety that you deal with. You know what I'm saying? 100%. It's a lot of questioning yourself. Are you doing the right thing? But you know what? You just got to realize chasing dreams, you know, comes with, you know, not knowing the journey. The GPS is, or I was talking with a friend yesterday and I was telling him, like, you know what? I'm still chasing my dream, but I feel like the GPS is calculating right now. You know, like your GPS gets out of whack and it's calculating. So right now I feel like the journey is being calculated right now. It's being rerouted, but, you know, you can't give up.
And there's nothing wrong with that because, you know, like you said, you know, everybody see the glam and the glitter of the aftermath. And that's with every business that we look at, you know, whether they're a well-established brand that's out there making billions of dollars, or somebody who's small and still trying to come up, because the steps that we take as entrepreneurs behind the scene, the sacrifices, lack of sleep, our bank accounts, you know, almost empty, you know.
Student loans.
Other bills.
Student loans.
You know, there's so much, you know, time with our family. I mean, you guys, you know, you got a kid, you got kids, you know, and people don't understand. I don't have no kids as yet, but I can imagine when you work in crazy amount of hours or going after your passion because you want to take care of your family, your kids are still growing up. Life is still happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people don't understand how much we sacrifice day in, day out to better our craft, because they say, what is it? Like, I think to be an expert in your craft, you have to put in 5,000 hours, you know, and that's a lot of time if you think about it. So it drives you to the point or the break of like you want to go insane. And to combat that, you always have to remember, you know, like Eric Thomas would say, you know, I love listening to him as a motivational speaker. Know your why. You know
your why.
And you know, you gotta remember getting up in the morning and say, look, if you you know, I had to work a regular job, I still do, you know what I'm saying? And it's okay, because you know what, I still gotta fund my business, even though he's bringing in its money on its own, and also my life, you know, and there's so much we have to do, you know, outside of that, take on, and, you know, stepping away from the 9 to 5, it's scary for many, but me as a person, like my friends and them think I'm crazy, I just walk away. If I'm this tired of it, I walk away, because I believe in what I'm doing for my brand believes in me, and that's the thing that we have to always remember, believe in your brand, but mostly believe in you as a person, because you know what?
Your brand is an extension of yourself.
It is.
You know?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, the main thing with any of this is the roadblock. It's not all sacrifice. It's the roadblocks that we set for ourselves in our minds, and putting limits on ourselves. Like, you know, I have to speak, I guess not for all of Buffalo, but some people in Buffalo, you know, it's a small town. There's only a certain number of good jobs. Let's just say that. I mean, it's a general blanket statement, but you know, if you're from Buffalo, you know where you work. You work for National Fuel, you work for HSBC, you work, you know, which I did, HSBC Mortgage for a number of years. That was my 9 to 5 job that I hated, but I had to go there every single day until I could get to my dream. So it's just like, if you are one of those people that works in insurance customer service, mortgage customer service, National Fuel, Geico, it's fine if that's where you want to be, but don't think that's where you have to be. Because I'm telling you, I worked there for 10 years with no college education. And even after that, with what people would assume to be roadblocks, I was able to actually live my dream and I didn't even know what my dream was. I just knew that what I was doing wasn't fulfilling, and I knew that I was capable of doing more.
Doing more.
I didn't know what that was, but I didn't allow myself to say, like, you know, this is a good job. I'm making decent money. I have a home. Let me just stay here and be comfortable.
And you know, being content sometimes is our worst enemy.
It is.
Yeah.
Because,
It
you know,
is.
I sit back and say, you know what? I work for this huge company. You know, I have a nice condo. I drive a nice car, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. But it's just like, I know I can do so much more. So I can't let myself be content, right? Because content is that devil saying, oh, don't worry about it. You don't have to do bigger. You're good there. And that's the worst thing you can do because you cloud your potential.
Right.
You know, you don't really see, you know, what you can truly do when you breathe in content. The next question I have is, how have you dealt with a lack of support? And like, this is something that's really hurts me, right? Because it's just like, you see yourself doing something good, you know, you enjoy what you're doing, and you know that you're producing like a quality content, quality product, but then it's just like sometimes the support doesn't follow. And it hurts sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I sit back and I'm like, man, like, you know, why aren't people supporting me like I want them to support me? You can't take it personal because not everyone believes in your brand or the extension of what you're doing, but it hurts sometimes, the lack of support. So, Stana, how have you dealt with the lack of support?
The lack of support, I have to be my own cheerleader.
Yes.
You know, I do have support in certain aspects. Don't get it wrong now. There are certain close friends like Marv, you know, is one of my good supporters. You know, I have my friend Naomi and, you know, my friend Michelle, you know, who is also the owner of Jumikai and, you know, took on, you know, the brand in the store and so forth like that. You know, and I have different support that people believe in me to help push the brand and make it possible, you know, and wear it and just do things. But the other support, I mean, coming from the number of friends I thought I had from back in the day, you know, certain family members, it's hard because, you know, there's one thing when you are in, you know, you have family support, right?
Mm-hmm.
But family, you know, they might say, okay, you'll be okay. This is without business now. But they don't understand the type of support you need as a entrepreneur or a business owner. That's a whole different type of mental support we need because every day we want to quit. I am not going to lie to you. Every day I want to quit my brand. I'm sorry. You know, but I critique myself that hard, but I always remind myself, my why. You know, because even though without the support, I have to be my own cheerleader. I have to keep on pushing myself. I have to believe in my brand just like it believes in me. I have to wake up every morning and smile and tell myself, you know what? My brand got my back no matter what. Those who got my back as well outside of my brand, I love them. I tell them I love them. You know why? And even somebody who's just a customer, thank you so much for supporting my brand. You know, I would love everyone to be wearing my brand out there, but I know, hey, it's okay. But
One day.
One day.
One
right?
day,
One
you
day.
know?
You know, but right now, in terms of the personal support, I have those who are close to me, but the lack of it in some aspects, it's hard. It is draining mentally and emotionally because some folks don't understand what we go through and they feel that we're okay, but sometimes we're not. Sometimes a text or call will say, hey, are you okay? How's the brand doing? I could say, yeah, it's doing great. You know?
I think another thing we have to realize, and you know, you know, the beautiful thing about him also being one of the co-hosts of the show is this is like one of my best support systems. Because sometimes I get to the point where it's like, you know, I know what we're doing is dope, and I know, like, I have strangers who will reach out and be like, yo, I just caught the show because somebody shared it and I enjoyed it, and then, you know, they have these little, you know, dialogues in your inbox, but it's just like people who you would think support you and push you won't. And then you have to also realize sometimes, and not everyone, but sometimes is the lack of they don't want to see you take off, right? Because once you take off, it reminds them that they're not doing stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That,
But to
You know what I'm saying?
To piggyback what it is, it's like even one of my closest friends and my college roommate, he's a sports agent, right? And I told him, and in the conversation we had, I was like, listen, man, some of the pictures you taking, you know, it's good to promote your brand, but be careful because people's not going to help you if they feel like you made it already, right? So that's why it's hard sometimes to even share a video or do this, even with your brand, because if people's like, well, I'm helping this dude already made it already.
right.
And the scary thing about it is a lot of people is insecure about certain things because you got something going on.
But you know, Rihanna already made it, but we still go
But
crazy to
because
share
you
Fenty
you
Beauty and
can't
stuff.
touch Rihanna. Rihanna's somebody that you like her music. She's in the industry, and you okay with that. But if me and you grew up together, right, and I have my business taking off, and you're not in a happy space, you're like, man, I'm not gonna help out Cliff. Well, I'm helping out Cliff for. He already got the money. And that's what's happening with society in general, even with social media. Like, my boy's a sports agent, and he got NFL players and basketball players, and he hasn't taken off the way he's supposed to already. And I'm telling him, keep grinding. But I said, bro, be careful who you're trying to network with, because everybody's not your friend. And every time I tell him that, he see little things that people are doing, you know, that shows like that. Wow, like, really? But you know what it is? It's about, like you said, believing in yourself, taking the time and effort, even with his show. Like, he was on another podcast, you know. It was a good situation, whatever. It didn't work out. I told him when he started his own show, I said, you know what? Just keep pushing forward. He wrote a book. He does rap music. He does poetry. He does a lot of talented things, but he has to push it. I keep telling him, keep going, because listen, you can always go back to work and do a 9 to 5. Your brand is your brand. You got to be able to push that. But sometimes people will see your social media and automatically think that you made it. That's what's scary about what you put out there.
So, man, how have you dealt with lack of support?
You know, I'm sitting here trying to think, and maybe I've been really blessed to have so much overwhelming support
That's
from beginning to end. I mean, I have a huge family, and they've been great. I have a huge network of attorneys that are always, when I want to quit, they're telling me to keep going. And they, support me in any way you can think of, with whether it's with cases, with just offering help, just being a listening ear, letting me vent on Facebook. They're the comment. It's okay. I can't think of lack of support. However, if it's happening, it's probably behind my back. Y'all would know before me. But I haven't had that situation yet. I don't think so.
And you know, I think also it's beautiful because of, you know, you having a quote unquote profession. As far as it's kind of harder for people to hate because they know the work that you put in.
However,
they know the work they put in, and they can't really take it away from you. Except
we do get someone wrote, I think a blogger wrote something that was shared with me about the lawyer booty calls. In essence, that she was saying that, like, people hit her up in the middle of the night, like, hey, what you doing? I got a legal question for you. Like,
people want to use your services for free.
You know. So, but, you know, I do get those calls, and I don't push them away. I don't feel any type of way about that, because you know what? My grandfather, who recently passed away, thank you. He really believed in family, and he really believed in supporting Black people as a community, minorities, and I think he always instilled in me to help others where I could. And for me, I know I wouldn't have got to this point if I didn't have the help of very key individuals and community helping me get to this point. So you can call me in the middle of the night with a legal question. I will.
Don't say that.
I can do it.
Don't say that. You got to say it with limitations, right? Because, you know, people take advantage.
But that's what it is, and that's what it should be about. And, you know, if there's people that take advantage, then they take advantage. But there's generally people that really want help, or they really have a question. I mean, if it's a real big thing, of course, you know, it's more than just a question. But, you know, that's the only thing that people say with lawyer. You guys are selling products is different.
Yeah.
But services, they try to get for free.
So the last question I have on this topic, and then we'll move on to the next topic, is, and you said something that's critical, is knowing your why. So that's a beautiful thing, because that's something that I'm going to take from you. But the question is, what do you do when you feel like giving up? And what makes sure you don't?
So, giving up, to me, is the easy way out. You know, I played sports, you know, just about my entire life. You know, played football at UB, you know, high school football, ran track. And it's easy to give up. Life, if we want to, and I was telling you a little bit earlier, you know, if somebody wants, at one point, when my brand was before my brand was even created, I wanted to give up on life, you know, and it was a simple question an answer that came from my mom that changed my whole thought about giving up. You know, and you know, there's a part I was, you know, where I was like down and out, and I wanted this end life, period. And I heard a movie. I was watching a movie actually, and the question was, "Are you existing, or you exist? Are you existing? Are you living or existing?" I apologize. And then I couldn't answer that question, and I asked my mom the same question. You know what she said to me? She said, "Son, I'm existing to pay bills." That's a powerful question, an answer. And from there, you know, she told me, "Son, I need you to start living life and loving life and pray more." That's when I was down and out, you know. And ever since then, I just told myself, I can't give up. Giving up is too easy. You know, and one thing about playing sports is that they tell you push it to the last whistle. You know, keep going. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how much you want to quit, no matter how much tears come out your eyes, no matter how empty your bank account is, no matter how cold it is outside, how rainy it is, how, you know, how hot it is, don't give up. Just get up and go. And I had to install that in myself. Then I have, you know, those who are close to me who always tell me, you know, yo, you got a great brand. You got a great brand. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. And, you know, there are days when I had sales and days I didn't have sales. You know, and it just made me, when I got the sales, I was like, holy, you know, and I just kept on pushing. I was like, yeah, that's another person I just, you know, who saw my brand and fell in love with it. And then another one, you know, so you always have to do things to remind yourself every day to get up and go after it. Motivational speakers. I listen to Les Brown, Eric Thomas,
I like
daily. You know, it could be the same video I'm hearing again, but it always reminds me, look, get up. You know, you're not the only one going through this. You know, other people have their own stress in life. They're going through struggles themselves. We always got to figure out a way how to get through our own struggles ourselves.
And you know what new thing has motivated me and like moved me is the whole situation with the Colin Kaepernick and the advertisement when he was just like, don't feel that your dreams don't be worried that your dreams are crazy. Worry that they're not crazy enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's true because sometimes we lessen our voice, we lower our voice so that people around us are comfortable.
Yeah.
That's one thing I kind of learned. Like, I was in a situation where I was kind of being forced to dim my light so that the people around me felt better, and I was just like,
Why?
You know what I'm saying? So, what about you? When you're ready to quit or felt like quitting, what was your? Nah, I got to keep going forward.
Well, after I cry, I call my dad. No, I do. Let me see. Probably like my daughters. You know, it's a lot of
You have
responsibility.
two beautiful daughters. They're so great.
Thank you. I mean, not have to go on about them, but you know, they've been through some things. My daughter she's a very talented track runner, D1, and she had a bad injury in high school, but she's running. You know, like, I can't imagine, you know, there's so many people. I have a very close friend who had a stroke, but she keeps going. And I think everyone I have around me has been through some really challenging things, and I see that they keep going and they inspire me. I think all of my friends are huge inspirations to me. And, you know, like I said, I have a lot of support. So, you know, what's my excuse?
What about you, Cliff? Like, when you feel like ready to quit, what keep going?
You already know my dream is a movie, right?
Yeah.
So, no, seriously, you know what it is? I'm the type of person that never really quits because I think it's like when you come back to talking about sports, right? It gives you the power to keep going. And I could talk about it because I'm proud that I'm still here. I had open heart surgery.
Wow.
Right? 2015, December 17, 2015, I had open heart surgery.
Wow.
Right? And I'm telling you, when the doctors tell you, if you don't do this, because I always play high school and college basketball, so when I got sick, I was like, doctor was like, okay, we could do surgery either Monday or Thursday. This is how they're talking to you. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
you could keep putting me on medication. I'm not doing open heart surgery. He said, son, if you don't do it now, I'm not going to put you on that table when you're sick to the point where you ain't gonna be able to make it. I said, oh, I just got married. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I got a big family. Oh, we could do it Monday, Thursday. And I'm still fighting the fight. Even with open heart surgery, I still work. I'm just a hard worker, period, because I know there's somebody else that didn't have the opportunity to have open heart surgery. And I'm still fighting the fight, right? I could talk about it because it's nothing I'm trying to be scared about. And I'm on the transplant list, so I will be getting a new heart.
Wow.
So, and this is something. The reason why I'm sharing it is because it's a topic that where it could be easily be like, okay, keep it in a couple. People need to hear this,
Right.
And I still might live my life like nothing ever happened to me because nobody is gonna. People could say, "Oh, I'm sorry," it's the fight, whatever. If I sat there and just took the pills and medication, I wouldn't be able to go back to work and do the things I was. So I knew once that happened, and then also I'm a new father. My daughter's about to turn 2. After open heart surgery, I did this. She's about to turn 2 and everything. So I know I have to live my life and be here because I have to raise my daughter. So she pick a respectful man, a good Haitian man, hopefully, God willing, and then to carry on the legacy, right? Yeah. But I'm sharing this, and this is something listen. People who work with me know I had open heart surgery. I'm on the list for transplant still and stuff, but I don't live my life like that. I don't bring my and I work in a high end facility. I work in a facility every day where things get crazy, right?
Right.
But I don't bring that energy to work because they don't deserve those problems that I'm talking about. Right. I always have the same energy because you know what it is? When stuff happens, you got to keep pushing. Mm-hmm. People see me like, you don't look like it, whatever. What are you supposed to look like when you
Let's
say?
see the scar.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where even when I was going through the process, and he always been my supporter with basketball. He knows, and not to my own. I was really good in basketball. I went up to UB and gave cats that work, went on the break real quick, whatever. But I was always good in basketball, whatever. And I always been through trials and tribulations. He always pushed me to whatever. So now we older and it's time to return the favor. I got to do that. When he's willing to stop, I got to say, you got to push to get going. So you just got to keep fighting because you never know what people are going through.
Right? So I'm gonna, end this topic and then move on to the next topic. Like, what pushes me is when he was going through his, found out he had the open heart surgery, I was just speechless because I'm thinking, he was always the athlete. I'm the one who's out of shape. So, I kind of felt guilty, why is it happening to him? This is something that I probably thought could have happened to me. And his demeanor, his strength, that was giving me an example. And I was just like, I can't quit. Another thing is, when strangers, like I said, sometimes I read the reviews of someone who read the book and they say, how much the book I wrote moved them. Or someone, like a stranger, like I said, inbox me about the podcast and stuff like that. It just makes me feel like, you know what? I know I have so much more to do. Mm-hmm. My job is not done. I can't continue to live off of the fact that I have potential to do great things. I have to continue to try to do great things. Right. And that's what keeps me going, right? Because I feel like I haven't reached the potential that I know that I have. And right now, potential is a curse word to me because I'm too old for potential. Right. I need to just do things and knock things out. You know what I'm saying? All right, so the next topic is more on a relationship basis. Views from the friend zone, I get perspectives. And it's not necessarily, we were talking earlier, it's not necessarily just about being, friend zone in a relationship, but it's just having that perspective outside of what everybody else is seeing. Sometimes you're on the sideline and you're allowed to monitor and see what everybody's going through. So the next topic is loving the wrong person. And we've all been there. You know what I'm saying? We've all had that person, why can't I quit this person? Or why am I continuing to be in this relationship and this person's not only beneficial, but they're not helping my growth?
I don't know what that means, though. Loving the wrong person. How is love ever wrong?
Because sometimes love will make you blind. Because you could be, this sounds mean, you can be in love with a crackhead, right? And hear me out. You know that they have an addiction, right?
That's not it.
No, but you know that they have addiction, but they continue to jeopardize your life with their lifestyle, but you love them. And maybe they need to get help on their own, but sometimes loving that wrong person is detrimental to your own growth. So the first sub-question is, How do you move on when you're in love with the wrong person?
Wow. You know, I'm gonna tell you this. It's hard. It is hard. It is something that it draws away energy from what you're doing. You know, because if you think about energy, right? There's all types of energy around us, and we need our energy to focus on the things that we are doing. And loving the wrong person, or still in love with someone who is no longer with you, draws a lot of energy out of you, because you're like, damn, what did I do wrong? You start questioning yourself. You think back about all the things you have done, either good or bad or so. I don't know, right? And it's draining because it's done. That person have moved on with their life. You know, whether they are married, whether they have a boyfriend, or whether they have kids. And sometimes you just have to like block it out. You know, you just have to just say, you know what, you have to force yourself out of it, because that's basically what we all do when we're moving on from someone else. In order for us to get over them, we have to just either force it out, or we start dating someone else. But even when we date someone else, we still kind of think about the last person, because we don't want to
There's
mess
always
up.
that crossover, right?
Right.
Where you still kind of love the last person,
Right.
and you're learning to love the new person.
Right.
So like
So-
I'm the only woman here, huh?
So how do you move on when you're in love with the wrong person?
I don't agree with being in love with the wrong person. I feel like it's just from me, my own experience. Like someone could not be particularly good for you, as Steiner was saying, but me, I still have love for each and every one of them. Like I have an ex-husband. We've been through it, but I have love for him, and it's still hugs and kisses when I see him at this point. There's still some love. There's some level of love.
But there was a breaking point where you knew that this relationship is no longer,
But I'm not going to
contributing to my growth, so I have to move on.
But I don't classify it as wrong. It's more of a learning lesson. It's more of an experience. It had to happen, because that made me who I am. That gave me more knowledge to give to others. So it's not like, well, out of that relationship, that was wrong and I should have avoided it and it needs to be out of my life completely. I think I still take it on. I take on that relationship and it helps me in my profession. I take on that relationship. It helps me with my daughters. I take on that relationship. It helps me be a better woman in my new relationship. So I guess, I don't look at it as moving on. I look at it as taking it and putting it in the proper place and perspective to help me grow.
Okay.
What about you, Cliff? How do you move on when you're in love with the wrong person?
How do you move on when you're in love with the wrong person? What you got to do is, first of all, to move on, you can't go back looking at all the good things y'all did and stuff, what you call it. You just because you're not gonna grow to the new situation, right? You're never gonna be hands on to the new person you with. So first thing I think you should do, you should eliminate. Unless y'all got kids, you don't need to talk to that person anymore, because
What?
unless you have kids with the person.
You guys are such men. I'm sorry to
Listen,
interrupt.
unless
Y'all
you-
are men.
listen.
This is why men prosper, I guess, in love. Because you just cut it.
Unless you have kids, you shouldn't be in contact with the person, whatever, because you're not building for the new relationship you are, right? Because in the new relationship, you can be like, you know what? She don't do the things that Wanda used to do.
Right.
She don't do this and whatever. So I think you just cut off all communication on that side, unless his kids involved. When kids involved, it's different, right? You're still gonna have that communication, but other than that, you gotta move on.
I don't know.
You gotta leave the old chapters. That's me.
I feel like
That's my opinion.
Savage.
in the situation where I had to move on, it took. And me, I'm the type of person I always try to make things work. I try to work things out. So I think I had two kind of aha moments. The first aha moment was her best friend behind her back and said, "Look, she's wasting your time. She doesn't deserve you. You should just move on." Her best friend behind her back told me that, and I was just like, ah. Then one day I was sitting, we was at dinner and stuff like that. I always remember this. We was watching the Oscars or whatever. And then, she was just saying, "Marv, I think you're so great. You're the love of my life, this, that, and the other," stuff like that. But things have been bad, and then she was just like, you're the kind of person I want to be with in the future. When I'm ready to settle down, you'll be the person with, right? And then I said to myself, and it was all good things she was saying, but I was thinking to myself, who am I going to be in the future that I haven't been to her already?
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Those words right there is the moving ticket.
So my good enough or my best now was not good enough for her then.
Right.
So I had to move on because I was in love with someone who didn't value me. And maybe sometimes you're not in that situation, but you gotta realize when you love someone that's not right for you, should you continue to sacrifice your personal growth just to hold on to someone? It hurts to let go, but trust me, there's better around the corner. And a lot of times we don't take that step out in faith. So I feel like, you know what, to move on from someone who's wrong, you have to evaluate whether or not you're going to be able to grow and enjoy life sticking to this person just because you love them.
Is it always a clear answer for you guys like that? Like,
No, I mean,
do you guys have these
No,
like
because you
epiphanies?
know what it is? If you listen, relationships is emotional investment, right? So if you keep going into it and you rely on the person, you're never gonna grow with the new
It's like
person.
you're living in the past.
Exactly.
all the
You
time.
never. It's like you at your new job, but you keep thinking about the things you did at your old job.
Right.
You it's a start over plan. How you starting over if you still thinking about what you did at your old job? You're not gonna be able to work as hard.
Because we have a limited time, I want to move on to the next topics, and then, you know, that way we could, you know, answer all the questions. The next question is, have you ever had a relationship where you kept letting the person back in?
Really?
Yes, I have. You know, I thought that person was the right one for me, and maybe it was my immaturity that, you know, made them go, and then it's like, they'll come back, and I learned that sometimes it's can be just immaturity, because we all dated someone who we figured that we all know wasn't good for us, but somehow we just felt or saw things in them that, and maybe that's what it was. I saw things in that person that made me happy inside. Like, if it's going out, if it's cracking jokes, if it's just whatever. And from that, I kept on allowing them in. And I saw that the energy it took from me, how much it took out of me doing so, and then the separation part, and the going back in and separating again, and it's a yo-yo effect, right? And I just got tired of it. And I said, you know what? I have to put my foot down as a person, because I have to do something. I have to grow. I have to get away from this. And that's what I did.
Have you ever been in a relationship where you kept letting the person back in your life?
What do you mean by that? Now you're asking the question. What do you mean by
No,
let
just
the
like,
person
it's
in
just
your
like,
life? Does it mean you have an argument, you break up, you get back together? I mean, it's difficult.
Yeah, like, like you on again, off again. We're good now. We're not good. We're good now. We're not good. Kind of like light switch kind of relationship.
I guess so. I guess you could classify it like that.
Okay. So, like, what is the catalyst that allows you to stay in that relationship?
I think with my situation, it's just that it's kind of like what you were saying, Marv, a little bit about your past situation. It's always a timing issue. And I think when you think about relationships, there's no blanket rule for every single relationship with two different people. In this particular relationship, we're two people that we're in two different places in life, and we can see where the two places will come together at a certain point. But that causes tension itself. It causes frustration. But I think the willingness to work on it together and continue to work on it, that's what keeps you back together.
Have you ever been in a relationship where you can let a person in and out?
I mean, I wasn't really the relationship type before my wife. Like, I had a couple of relationships, but I usually just deal with them how I deal with them.
That's some pep talk, right? I deal with them how I deal with them.
I get that feeling.
I deal with them how I deal with them. And it's funny because, like, literally when the situation, I was doing a lot, right? I was messing with a lot of girls at the time. And then when I started talking to my wife around that time, I just asked the next person I deal with, I'm going to take them more serious.
I remember
And
him
she
saying that.
And we married now, been together, and we got our first daughter and all that, which correct?
Yeah.
Before I used to just do it on that. I was doing them how I do them. So,
Wow.
So me, of course, like I said, the situation before, and we would just be like, you know what, let's just not talk to each other, and then time elapse, and then you keep thinking about good memories or something to remind you of the person, and then you hit them up, hey, how you doing, kind of stuff like that. And I just, like I said, I had to get to that point where it's just like I'm not growing. Like I emotionally invested 3 to 4 years with this person, and I had nothing to show for it. It was no progression. It was no growth. A lot of empty, incomplete feelings. So that turnstile relationship, I'm not saying it might eventually lead for some people into a marriage and stuff. But I always feel like, how are you growing as a person with this person in your life? When you have someone who's just in your life and then they leave and then they come back, and like someone who really wants to build with you, has the patience with you, and also has a plan with you. I think a lot of times we don't date with a plan. We date with just a feeling and momentum, and momentum swings back and forth. You got to have a plan. So the last question on the topic is, what did you learn from that back and forth relationship? Those who aren't in it.
Stop doing it.
Stop doing it, right?
Oh, I'm so
Stop
outnumbered.
it. Because, here's the thing, right? We all believe that, like, what is that saying? If you really truly love someone.
If you love someone, let them go. If they come back, they belong to you. If not, they never was yours.
Keep on going and come back, come back, right? And to me, I'm like, look, man, just let them go.
Yeah.
I have to be cold with it. I mean, I'm not a woman, so I can't be as emotional, right?
Yeah.
But as a man, I have to put my foot down in things on myself.
Yeah.
Not because of that, because there are screw ups I have done. Don't get me wrong now. I'm not a perfect person.
Yeah.
And I know that, a certain level of growth and maturity needs within all of us in order for us to have that relationship level. Like, hey, you guys are married. That's awesome. And maybe you found out something within yourself that you said, you know what, I need to do this because I'm growing with this person. I just feel like,
every day is a working process. It ain't easy.
Right, right. I've heard that from many folks,
It ain't easy.
And I just don't want to jump into something like say and just marry somebody because I can marry them. That's wrong to them, right? And it's wrong to myself because happiness is one great thing we all want, right? But it's one of the most hardest thing to get, especially with someone who we think we are spending the rest of our life with. I've watched a lot of folks who are young getting married, having kids, and then divorcing like 3 years later. Like, whatever happened to the 20 and 30 and 40 years of
I think
marriage?
that's the most expensive thing in the world that people don't value enough.
But you know
happiness.
what it is? I think, to piggyback a little bit what you're saying is, that's our parents' generation, right? Because our parents' generation, I witnessed it. My mom stayed with my pops. God rest his soul, he passed, whatever. And my pops, he's a hardworking man, paid the bills, whatever. But, he had his issues and stuff. But she stayed with him for the kids. Our parents are more to say, I'm going to take a sacrifice now. Now us, new people that's married now, we like, yo, this ain't working out. How we going to do this?
Because life is short, yo.
Because you realize.
I'm not on that lifetime contract with anything, yo.
So here's the thing, right? I blame social media.
I was gonna say that.
We definitely need to let have a
relationships
woman.
are cheap now. You can just swipe and find somebody else that quickly.
That's a fact. But we need you to share.
Wait, what was the question?
So
what did I learn?
What did you learn
You know
from the
what?
back and forth relationship?
You can say, I guess some people would classify a relationship as back and forth. What I've learned is when push comes to shove, I know he's down for me and I got his back through anything. I know when it's really on the line, he's there. And I think the problem is when you're looking back at these back and forth relationships, when the woman, because I mostly talk to women, when they look back and say, but what am I getting out of this? That's when they're like lost or they're ready to leave. But when I guess we have our ups and downs, it's like I'm getting support, I'm getting encouragement, I'm getting guidance, I'm getting financial, whatever it is. You can see that, maybe the person's maybe flawed and maybe you're flawed, but we're learning to work together.
Yeah. So I'm gonna wrap up that so we can do the last topic. And what I learned from the situation was one, that no matter how good you are to a person, you can't make them overvalue how good you are to them. They have to truly appreciate it and truly want that from them. Like you could love someone with all your being, but if they're not really to accept it and embrace it,
Right.
then
Absorb it. Right.
then it could be a waste of your time and your energy. And I always feel like this: you have a finite amount of years on this earth. Like we don't live forever, and then we're not young forever, and we're not popping forever.
Right.
So use your popping years to the best of his ability. Don't let someone put you on the shelf and have you just dry up, and then one day decide like, yo, I want
But
something
that could
else.
happen
At
anyways.
any age.
Yeah.
No, but
Anytime.
but it can happen at
Yeah,
any
it
time.
could.
But I feel like a lot of times we allow our good
How good
popping
years.
energies
our
to
youth on
just be
wasted
wasted.
energy.
So if you were someone who doesn't really have a plan and doesn't really have a trajectory of where your relationship should be, you got to let it go,
But
no matter how
sometimes
hard it is.
It takes one person to help change you, like you said, right?
Yeah.
You know,
And
your
I-
wife came about and shows you a different path in life, and now you're married. Now you have a kid.
Yeah.
So it takes sometimes a person to open your eyes up. And yes, you know, we will come across various types of people. You know, and my mom told me something. I love my mom a lot, despite we have bumps heads and here and there, right? She told me an important thing. She said, date as much people you want. Doesn't mean have sex with them,
Yes.
right? With every one of them, because it makes no sense. She said, appreciate the personalities and find out which one makes you feel happy the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
Once you figure that out, then you and that person could possibly have a same growth pattern if that person is willing to grow. Because remember, I'm a man, they're a woman. You know, and whoever they are you're dating, that's your own personal business.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is, if that person and you combine and mesh well, and you feel like, yo, my heart is smiling, and that person is smiling the same way, then I can see where you can plan out and you can start growing from there. Other than that, it's just lust in some manner.
So I'm gonna move on to the last topic. The last topic of the show is called Ask the Zone. Now, Ask the Zone is like a Dear Abby kind of thing where people reach out to Amanda. First of all, I forgot to do this. Shout out to Amanda, aka Greedy Gut. Shout out to Mike, aka Open Shirt Poppy. They're both not here today. They had family obligations, but you know, there's always all love. So anyway, so people reach out to Amanda and they ask her questions for us to discuss on the show. So it's funny how you said social media, you know, affects relationships and make people. I always feel like social media has made us feel like we more popping than we are. Like we have so much more options
Right.
because, you know, like you could swipe left or you could be in somebody's inbox kind of thing. So the question is, my girlfriend and I have been together for a year and a few months. I'm not big on social media, but she is. I've posted a few pics of her and I, but if you go on her page, she has none of us. You can't even tell that she's in a relationship. Although it's only social media, should I be concerned? When I bring it up to her, she says it's not a big deal and people don't need to know that she's involved as long as her friends and immediate family knows that's all that matters. That sounds like bullshit to me. Am I bugging and think too deep, or is this a red flag? And Amanda sent me the question and I said to her, she is fronting. Because I hate this. I don't want to sound sexist, but being recognized on social media is huge for women.
Wow.
Huge.
Really?
How
You're
many?
generalizing.
How many women you? It is generalization,
It's
but I'll
a
let y'all
lot.
discuss.
It's a
How
reach.
many women you know that is completely cool with not being acknowledged on social media?
I'm all right with it. First of all, there's an age thing for this too. Maybe the younger generation, we are right at that age where social media might be our thing and it might not. But you know, it's no. I guess it depends on the person. I think some people don't like having their stuff on social media because then if something goes wrong, they got to undo it. Or people are so bold enough to ask on social media, well, what happened? And that's a lot.
What about you?
I don't discuss my personal life, period. I don't, whether if I'm dating or in a relationship, there's nothing for social media to know about. That's my private life.
Okay.
I see so much things on social media that everyone wants to put their entire life on social media. They don't deserve to see what is going on in my life. Like you said, immediate family and friends will know what's going on with me. Okay? Because at the end of the day, those are people who are just trying to be nosy in your life. I've seen, like, I'll give you the other day, right? First day of school, for example. Everybody's so happy to see kids' first day of school.
Yeah.
Right? And I know this is kind of off topic, right?
No, I know, but that's.
But I've seen everybody's pictures with their kids on there.
Yeah.
Why is your kids on social media? I understand you want to show your love for your kids and the growth of your family. I get that. I get it. But there's so much predators out there.
Yeah, but to me, that's a sidebar because, okay, some people are private and stuff like that. But if you're in a situation where you know, like, it's a difference between the person being, like, private on social media and that social media is not a big deal. But if social media is important to this person, but they're keeping you hidden, you don't think that's a
Why
flag?
is social media important to the person?
I think it's a flag, right? Because, like, social media, let's call space. Social media is big in relationships now. It literally could control your relationship. Why this person liking this person? You might be researching. You're the same guy. Keep liking my wife pictures. The same, because it'll mess with your mind, right? I think that's a red flag, 100%. Because when you with somebody, you should want to appreciate them and show them the love and respect to let everybody know. Listen, if y'all both on social media, if that social media is just not your thing, then that's just not your thing. You can't force somebody to go on social media and that's not their thing. I respect what you're saying, right? My social media is dedicated really to my daughter and my wife because that's my situation right now. And I don't boast on it just so everybody can see it, because my situation is a little different. I express personal things with y'all earlier, right? So I'm grateful that I'm even here, that I even get to share those moments. So I use social media as a share moment thing. But with the situation that asked from the friends, so she's definitely trying to hide him.
I think that's a
trying
fact.
to
So
hide him.
my thing, I also need to know. I also would need to know how her page look, right? Because if her page always looked like she's promoting herself,
that's different.
you know what I'm saying? Like she always got the thirst traps going on, and then the pictures where the titties look crazy and stuff like that. You know, when dudes have 500 loves on it and mad spicy comments to her, and she's just like responding back to them with like kissy faces, love kind of stuff like that. To me, you operating single, and now I have an issue. But
go ahead.
You know, the underlying issues are much deeper than social media here. The issue is, why is our relationship for public consumption? Why do you feel that you don't feel validated in your relationship unless other people acknowledge it? Why do you have to show everybody that you...
My thing is, he posted her on his joint, and she won't return the same love.
I don't post my relationship on... I don't, like, post me and my boyfriend on social media too often, maybe once a year. He doesn't post me at all. He's not a social media person at all, except for, like, his business. But, like, I don't feel any type of way about it. You know, so I mean,
I got something real quick. I'm sorry to cut in.
Make it quick because we gotta wrap.
So here's this, right? The reason why I don't post nothing like that before is because I used to once upon a time. A friend of mine, all went to school together. We all know, but I'm not gonna call no names out, right? Saw my pictures of my girlfriend, right? I lived in Florida. Found upon himself now to reach out to her. Now this is somebody who I thought was like a brother. Engage in conversations with her to the point that things went on, and his response back to me was, "Oh, I thought that was some sort of shorty you had. You know, dude, you know this was my girl." And things went on. So I didn't know about it until she was like, "Oh yeah, he's just only bothering me on social media." And I was like, "Let me say to my boy, yo, it was good." "Oh, I didn't know it was your girl." "What you mean?" "Well, show me proof that I need to see that, you know, maybe I'm going crazy." Song playlists, pictures of them in another state, country, whatever. I was like, whoa. And this is the same person who's saying, "Oh, babe, I love you." After that, nobody needs to know nothing about my personal life.
Guys, Judy, that's a personal experience, and I get it because you
know
felt like, you know, that happens. But social media, it's all how, like I said, I can respect that he doesn't. Some people not involved. Like my older brother, he don't care for that at all. He's like, listen, I don't want no drama with it. But Some relationships are going because of social media.
I'm gonna say this.
it's-
I'll let you
that's
say.
the
I'll let
situation.
you
And
close
it's
this
gone
out.
because of social media.
Yeah.
I'll let you close it out. My thing about it is like this. I don't live and die by the fact that I got it. Like my wife, she took herself out of social media because of the pettiness that some people have. My thing about it is, if I tell you that I think it's weird, and you can't throw up like one picture of us, I think it's.
If you
it's,
told
it's
me that
funny.
as a man, I'd be like, dude, like, why are you not secure in this relationship? Like,
Okay.
seriously.
I have a question for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, well, you guys are married, right? But let's say hypothetically we all single here.
Yeah.
God bless you with the perfect person. I'm talking about everything you could picture in your mind, and they ask one question.
I already got that. No, go ahead.
Right?
Yeah.
And they ask you one question.
Yeah.
Do not post me on social media. Perfect person.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay? I'm talking about no cheating, nothing like that. They are straight up your gift from
Yeah.
God. What would you do if they say don't do that?
I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do
Can
it.
you imagine? What do you say?
Of course not.
Okay, can you imagine? I've said that to some of my friends, and you know what they said to me? Nah, he might be cheating. I said, this is a God sent person. They cannot stand it because they was
It's
like, I have to
just
show my
weird.
love.
It's too weird. You know what I'm saying?
It's a confidence matter. If you're confident, you don't need the validation. I don't need to be your model on your
Right.
page.
Dude, you're not bugging. She's hiding you. She's keeping you on the side, and tell her like,
Go get some confidence.
tell her like, yo,
Confidence.
acknowledge me. Say my name.
Oh
say my
my
name on some
God.
Beyonce
Get
stuff.
your Thank you.
All right, so
Thank you.
that's the end of this episode. I really appreciate you guys coming through. Before we head out, I want you guys to shout out what y'all got going, how people can reach out to you.
All right, so this is Steiner Woodruff once again, CEO of Live Life, Love Life. Also, I'd like to shout out my co-CEO, my younger sister, Dara Cunningham Hutchinson. We are working on a number of projects because Live Life, Love Life is all about inspiring the uninspired, okay? We will be trying to do things like, new T-shirts. You can check our website out, livelifelovelife365.com. Our Instagram is the same. And also, we want to work on projects like 5K runs, or Live Life, Love Life health fairs and things to start inspiring people to, live
Be
life
better.
more, be better with
Yeah.
themselves, have fun with life, okay? So look out for our website, look out for our Instagram. We will post some stuff there. Other than that, I just want everybody to know that life, we only have one, okay? Live it, love it,
Live it to
have
its
fun with
fullest.
it, no matter what. I lost some friends the other day. They're my age, and it is hurtful to know that
Sorry.
they're going so early. And I would tell folks, if it's something petty, that you have with someone, fix it. If you know you can fix it. If you sit in your home wondering about, I can't do nothing in my life, get out, do something with your life, travel, make it happen with yourself, because you know what? We're not guaranteed for tomorrow.
Nice.
You can reach me. You can inbox me. You can booty call me. It's fine.
Oh,
My
okay.
Legal booty call about legal stuff. Don't have her man all
I
up
can
in your
speak.
neck.
Madeline L. Mosteller, Facebook. My email, mmosteller@mostellerlaw.com. My website's coming soon. But yeah, family law, anything you need, give me a call.
Okay.
I ain't got nothing really going right now. I'm just thankful.
Oh, can I also say, I'm also working on a nonprofit, which is connecting single moms and high school students with professionals to help them either get into college, financial aid processing, and also mentoring, connecting youth with professionals in the community.
When that's up and running, I definitely want to help out and mentor. So
I'm
definitely
starting
let me
that.
know.
So if you have any college questions or things like that, you need a mentor, also please
Nice.
reach out.
So, I want to say, shout out to everybody who's continued to support the podcast, Live Life, Love Life, go out and support Madeline. Shout out to Love, Peace, and Slander podcast or show. They had me as a guest this week, Love, Peace, and Slander. You could get them on the Pregame Radio Network on YouTube. Shout out to Lit BKNY. They're a t-shirt brand out in Brooklyn. You're going to see me with their t-shirts as well. Support Live Life, Love Life. Like I always tell to everyone, go out there and chase your legacy because, your liabilities they go real quick, but your legacy lasts forever. And we out. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
So it's quick. It's conversation.